All you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Everything up off the table, I'm starving. See a nigga ball Steve Harvey. Blowing up the dome, no Sharpie. Working out, looking like a Barbie. Kid, better not red boy like Cardi. Yo, once again, smoke Bob Marley. This ain't no game, no Atari. Land moving bad like a Tony Doggy.
1, 2, 3, Shield Pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Fur tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. Yeah, money taking bets. Check my material on hella
Man, I
fresh.
got all the favorite bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Just got the keys to the mansion. Famous like Chris Brown dancing. Wonder why my bitch catch a tantrum. I got the golf course landing. At J House on New Year. NES got the whole crew here. Full live, making gator shoes here. I swear the shit feeling like a zoo here.
1, 2, 3, Shield Pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Fur tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. We getting money, taking bets. Check my material on hella fresh.
Man, I got all the favorite bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Everything up off the table, I'm starving. See a nigga ball Steve Harvey. Blowing up the dome, no Sharpie. Working out, looking like a Barbie. Kid, better not red boy like Cardi. Yo, once again, smoke Bob Marley. This ain't no game, no Atari. Land moving bad like a Tony Doggy.
1, 2, 3, Shield Pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Fur tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. Yeah, money taking bets. Check my material on hella
Man, I
fresh.
got all the favorite bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Just got the keys to the mansion. Famous like Chris Brown dancing. Wonder why my bitch catch a tantrum. I got the golf course landing. At J House on New Year. NES got the whole crew here. Full live, making gator shoes here. I swear the shit feeling like a zoo here.
1, 2, 3, Shield Pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Fur tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. We getting money, taking bets. Check my material on hella fresh.
Man, I got all the favorite bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Everything up off the table, I'm starving. See a nigga ball Steve Harvey. Blowing up the dome, no Sharpie. Working out, looking like a Barbie. Kid, better not red boy like Cardi. Yo, once again, smoke Bob Marley. This ain't no game, no Atari. Land moving bad like a Tony Doggy.
1, 2, 3, Shield Pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Fur tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. Yeah, money taking bets. Check my material on hella fresh.
Man, I got all the favorite bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your ass till they made a decision. All my friends making mans cause they know I'm my bitch. A lot of entertainers crash, I can see the collision. That's it to make the money, I was great at the division. I finna take all your food and I'ma eat up the dish. Just got the keys to the mansion. Famous like Chris Brown dancing. Wonder why my bitch catch a tantrum. I got the golf course landing.
Hey, G fucking M, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. Let's dive right in. Welcome to the Ronin Radio. I'm your host, Gunlock, and together with me is Mr. Stark. Good evening, sir. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yes, I am there.
Yo,
You are. There you
I think you're
go.
muted, Ganlock. Oh no,
Am
I
I
muted the
muted?
tab. My bad.
No, I'm not muted. You are hearing things or not hearing things,
I
Mr.
think
Sir.
1 second, like 1 or 2 minutes before we went live, wait, I can hear an echo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
one
do.
or two minutes.
There you go.
1 or 2 minutes before we went live. I wanted to listen to a video, and I muted the tab, and then broke the whole intro. Uh,
All right, welcome again. Let's do the intro again. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Rodent Radio. It's me, Gunlock, and Mr. Stark and I are
Yo.
going to be alone tonight, but we're going to be talking about something. I don't know. Is it? It feels like gloomy right now.
Well, it's our take on this gloomy topic of all these games shutting down and trying to analyze it, look at it truthfully, and then try to take some positives from it. Because
Exactly.
it's
And
it's the easy part is just bashing on everything and being doomy and gloomy. The hard part is trying to find a path forward, and that doesn't mean it's easy, and it doesn't mean that there necessarily is a clear path forward, right? But
exactly.
that's what we're here to do.
And together with these dead games, it's not just the dead games, it's also dead projects. And shout out to one of the closest to my heart, Tribally.games. Was good. There you go. I'm in theme right now. That is why I'm telling you, Stark, that I am in theme. I
Web3
have yeah.
Web3 gaming graveyard. Yay.
And there we go. The Crypto Gaming Graveyard brought to you by Ronin Radio. Now, if you've been in this space recently, you know it's been quiet, right? It's not the good kind of quiet that you want to have, but
Nope.
the Ronin ecosystem, even the Ronin ecosystem, it feels like a little bit lull. I have not seen, I have not heard of any mints happening recently for Ronin. I think the last one was a couple of months ago, and it was not even that big. And even the data that Caledon just dropped is
Yeah.
saying that 93% of all Web3 gaming projects since 2020 are now effectively dead.
Sheesh.
And that is talking about 3,200 games and gaming projects that have entered the ecosystem since 2020. $15 billion deployed. Not millions, not thousands, but $15 billion. 11 billion of that has been unfortunately lost because of, tokens going down, NFT prices going down, all of that thing.
Well, effectively also extracted from the ecosystem, right? It's the money doesn't disappear, right? If there's $1 billion that's been injected into a project and that project shuts down,
it goes somewhere.
It means $1 billion has been extracted, right? The money doesn't just sit on somebody's wallet. If the token goes to zero after people put $1 billion in it, it means that people sold tokens for $1 billion worth. And yeah, I think one of the things we're like trying to look at today with this Caledon article, or like I don't know if y'all saw the posts. If not, it's really worth seeing. I think it's an in-depth report. It is pretty doomy and gloomy, but it's just exposing the facts, right? And one of the things that I think is important to differentiate is what percentage of all these games never intended to build anything in the first place, and what I mean by that is how many of them, and I think it's a vast majority of them, kind of like what the Trump crypto family is doing, where they're just like using this space, and it's the fact that it's very much unregulated to just run amok, and they just saw, they just saw an opportunity to grift, right? And so mixed into that, there's for sure unlucky projects where there was no ill intention, where it was just they did their best. Their best wasn't just good enough. But I feel like at a glance, my first thought when I saw their article was just like saying, I don't think it's very fair to be mixing projects that actually tried with projects that had no intention of trying, and just the plan from day one. Like we've seen over the last week, these games shutting down where they raised 30, 40, 50 million dollars, and there was never a playable experience.
Yeah.
Like, how can you tell me some of these games planned on doing anything?
I mean, some of these games are actually have not raised that much, right? They have not reached those $50 million raised that have in some of the games that we'll be naming today, but they were able to still deliver an experience to some of the
exactly.
But even those games didn't actually make it. And I'm just gonna quickly run through the games that we're gonna be talking about, or maybe touch on today.
That we're gonna feature, the shutdowns that we're going to feature.
So we're gonna go through a bunch of names that you probably have played, have heard of, have tested, and so we're gonna be starting off with Pixel Heroes Adventure. This one is from Ronin Network. They've shut down on the 15th of April. Society with an X, they shut down on the 16th. 77-bit, this one is also big. They shut down on the 16th as well of April. Wildcard, this one is I feel like I've looked into the game. The game was, the way that it looked, it was really good, and there was a good amount of people playing it in the West, but still suffered the same fate. Wildcard, they shut down just recently, a few days ago, 27th of April. I think that was 3 days ago. And then another big name here is going to be Cydos Heroes. I looked into their game. It's an RPG type of game. Looks fun, but suffered the same consequence in 28th of April. This one, Genso Kishi, is somewhat like something close to, I guess, Gila and I, because when we were doing when working at Tribally, Genso Kishi was one of the first games that partnered with Tribally, and they have this MMO-ish type of game, and unfortunately they've also shut down just yesterday. Last one is going to be a project, not a game, but somewhat like a Steam version of on Web3 called Robot Cash, and they are going to be shutting down this Friday the 2nd. And 7 of these projects are gone or going in the last 2 weeks alone. Now, today, as what Sark mentioned, we are not going to ignore this, but we're going to name them. We're going to understand the situation and figure out what it means for all of us. And we're going to dive into 5 of these games, and 3 of them died this week. And then the last 2 have died a couple of months ago, but they have told, or they're telling the bigger story of why this keeps happening.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna do our best also to like not dunk on the project, or at least I will do my best not to dunk on the project. I know Gunlock is not gonna dunk on the project. I'm gonna do my best to restrain myself, but I can't promise I will for clear and apparent grifts. But for the games that like at the very least tried something, there's still, I think there's a lot. I think part of the path forward is figuring out as many lessons as possible. If there even is a path forward, it's figuring out what we can learn from this, and that's from an investor point of view, a player point of view, a builder's point of view. Obviously, there's different lessons for that to happen. But I think we're in a space right now where people are like, things are not really being discussed very openly about the rough truth of what has happened. I think that the projects that are still here are extremely resilient, given what has happened with all these projects shutting down and siphoning funds. killing the credibility of Web3 gaming, Web3 in general, just by that nature. And so yeah, I think let's dive into we think we're highlighting 5 of them, right? So let's
Yeah, well, we're going to be highlighting the 5 of these projects, and we're going to be starting off with this project called Robot Cash. Now,
before we did the prep for the show, I've literally never heard of them before.
Yeah, I actually had to research about them and learn about the. I can't even pronounce the fucking name, man.
Robot
Cash or Robo Cash.
Robot. No, it's 2 separate words. It's not Robo. Otherwise, there's a T. Pronounce the T. It's not a silent T. Robot Cash, like your
Robot Cash,
like your cache in your browser.
So this project is, from what I gathered, is similar to Steam, but the promise is since you own the game, you should be able to trade the game, or you can resell, you can buy from other players as well. And this project, the founder of this project is actually a big name in gaming in general, not just Web3, but it was founded by a guy named called Brian Fargo. You can Google it, and you will see that he was part of the team that was building Baldur's Gate, building Fallout, built Wasteland. So he's genuinely a legend in the game, right? But the problem that they have here is that, okay, let me ask you, Stark. You play a lot of Steam games, right? You play a lot of Epic games, right? Do you have, or how many games have you not finished that are in your library right now?
I mean, most of as everybody, most games in our Steam library we haven't even played, right?
Yeah, but especially those that goes on sale, right? You get to it's down, it's 90% sale. Okay, I'm gonna grab that because I've been wanting to play that game, and you don't play it. Now my question is, how many of those games you want to sell?
None necessarily, right? The only times it's come close is when you do, that ability to refund a game if you've played it for less than an hour after you've installed it, right? So
or something that has like a
so basically, other than the refund button, I don't see much point in that, right?
I mean, as a gamer, you don't really have that strong urge to actually sell the stuff that you buy, or the games that you buy
on Steam specifically. Yes, because of the habits we've formed, I guess, like as your lineup of questions, like as your questions highlighted, it's like that. I think it's different in the past with physical games when you could do trade-ins, right? You came in with 5 games. That's different. But I think
we did that with the, what do you call that? There were shops back in the day, right, in the 90s or towards 2000, where you can borrow like games, right? That's something that you can do back then. But to really resell the stuff that you buy like digitally, I don't think that there is like a demand for that one. And I think, because if you look at what we have on the slide here, in 2024, the overall yearly revenue for this project is only $532.
Yeah, I think this is the stat that made us highlight this game, right? They spent $30 million in 2024, and people spent $532 in, so they got $532 in game software revenue. For me, this is what I think about when I think about like a grift, right? You've got a guy involved in a lot of big projects, whether it seems like either directly involved or just his name slapped onto it, like these celebrity meme coins, where best case scenario, that person's just being taken advantage of by a couple of their friends or people of they know. They're like, oh, can we give you like $1 million and slap your name on this project? And then the guy doesn't understand blockchain and says, yeah, okay. And they use and abuse that name. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he's like fully aware of what's going on. So they're shutting down on Friday, and everything you can think of is disappearing, right? Everything
that you bought,
everything you bought, you owned. So yeah, just imagine if Steam just shut down, like you just open Steam one day and Steam doesn't work. That's what they tried to build, something like that, where you could resell your games, and now it's just shutting down, zero compensation.
But
They
on
can't,
Steam,
they,
though,
imagine this. They can't even fucking refund the $532 that people spent in 2024. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Fuck me.
there's no refund, and the only thing that you can do, I think, right now is to just I think they still have the tokens, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course they do.
But
Fucking
other than
grifters.
that, I mean, if you can sell the tokens that you have, but other than that, there's nothing else that you can do. Like you lost the games that you were playing, that you bought, and yeah, there's no refund for those. I mean,
the reality is, this is the one of the points not spoken enough about with this whole space is, it's all well and good to say that NFT and blockchain allows you to do, like the NFTs allow you digital ownership of your assets. But what the fuck does that mean if the project shuts down? So your NFT will be worthless, but at least you still have it. But if it's a digital software, like just something that you can't even see, let's say it's a game or a CD that's digital, and the thing shuts down, you can't even, it's just, it doesn't exist anymore. And the real possibility of that happening makes the whole value proposition very unattractive unless it's backed by a very solid name, a very solid project. And yeah,
and I guess that's a reason why they also brought in the Brian Fargo name in there, because it attracts, right? It attracts a lot of investment to come in, and unfortunately, as what Mr. Stark is saying, this is one of those that just basically griefed, I guess. And unfortunately, as it is, this game or this website is no longer going to be accessible, I believe.
Let's not rush past this. Can you imagine that they're not issuing compensation when they got $532 in revenue in 2024? Like, how fucking much of a grifter do you have to be to not pocket up for the 3 people who spent on your stupid ass product? You pocketed tens of millions of dollars and you can't even refund your 3 users.
The question, the real question here,
for me, that just shows the total impunity in which these grifters act with. You know, that there's not even a little ounce of shame or of guilt. They're just like, fuck these guys, as in us, this the whole Web3 gaming crew. Like fuck all these guys. They're not even worth making an effort to cut the $500 check while they go to a $5,000 dinner to celebrate their grift. It's
unreal. It's just unreal.
It highlights the joke that we seem to be to the outside sometimes.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate situation that we have, especially for those projects that shut down, and you just basically have no recourse for whatever you purchase on that project, right? So, yeah. Unfortunate for this Robot Cash. Unfortunately, I did not.
I think one of the lessons we can, and like if we go case by case and like think about what we can learn from this, is just to be much more critical when you join a project, as in like try to imagine what your ownership looks like if the game shuts down, stuff like that. Honestly, just think about like Axie might be a good example, right? Where your Axie still keep value if one of the Axie games shut down or you were playing one of the products. It's obviously if something happens to Sky Mavis, that's a different thing. But even there, you probably have some nostalgia value. Obviously, things that would be very different, and it's not on the cards for the near future, obviously. But if one of the Axie games shut down, you have other Axie games, you have upcoming Axie games. You know, like this, there might be a lull in value, but they're not everything does not just go to zero. And so I think one of the good lessons to pull from that is like before you invest in games, especially in things that are like selling all the keywords, decentralization, blah, 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 before you put your money in, just think about what happens if this shuts down tomorrow. You know, before I put money into this, what happens if it shuts down? Don't think, don't do the naive thing of thinking, oh, this can never shut down. Think what if, what then?
Yeah, and I guess do some. I mean, if for games as well, right, or for developers as well, right? Let's just say they didn't grief on this one, like, okay? Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt, and let's say they didn't grief, right? Do some fucking market research of your product being wanted by
No.
the
So
people, right?
I have to cut you off there. Let's save those arguments for projects that actually wanted to build something. And, no, these guys don't deserve. They don't deserve the. They
The
don't
benefit of the
deserve.
doubt.
They
Okay.
don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Give that, because we're highlighting big projects that shut down. Some of them, probably their biggest mistake was like not checking if they were a product market fit. Right. That's what you're
Yeah.
gonna say. When you do $532 that you don't refund, for me, that's the
You're
thing
still
you should
stuck
highlight.
with the
No, but it's
532.
$30 million pocketed, and you can't even pony up $500. All of
Yeah,
these
fair,
guys had
fair.
$500 spare change. They could have done it for their, just to save their name, their an ounce of their reputation. That's how little they give a fuck. They don't even,
Yeah.
So okay, let's save the benefit of the doubt for one that at least tried to do something without pure and utter griefing grifters. Okay, project number 2.
Project number 2. Okay. So 2 days ago, 28th of April, Sidus Heroes announced that they are going to be permanently closing. Now, this project, as I mentioned earlier, is a big. They raised $21 million, including OKX Ventures, 4 years in development, a sci-fi RPG, and they have 2 tokens. And right now, what's left is a claim platform for you to get your tokens and exit. And that is about it, what you can do at this point, because the game is dead. And the reason is this, which is I'm a bit on two sides here, because they had like a really good statement, right? I kind of like it, but when they got to the I think to the last part, they were basically saying that the problem is the broader market, it's not them.
Fuck off.
So they're saying that the NFT in demand is gone, the metaverse narrative is dead, AI are automating what they were building. They're also blaming the Terra, the Luna, the FTX wipe that happened. And they even also named like Web2 companies like Meta spending 40 billion and not, materializing the metaverse. The Disney, the Reality Labs lost, the Microsoft, and Tencent walking away from Web3, or the attempts of going to Web3. They are blaming everything but themselves.
You know how you have a series of red flag keywords when you read a white paper or something, where it seems like it's very clear that they're just trying to appeal to VC, when they're just using the keywords like decentralization, blockchain, or like not blockchain, but you know what I mean, these little keywords that are meaningless unless they're backed by something else, right?
Right.
I view projects blaming market conditions the same as that. It's just those cheap keywords that have no substance behind them and are extremely cowardly. When you raise $21 million, you don't get to blame market conditions. There's not a single, in everything they've said, not a single thing about what they did wrong. Zero accountability. I'm sure you've all heard of the game Clair Obscur, which won last year, won like 9 of 12
really good
nominations at Game of Thrones. That game cost less than $10 million to make. So I'm not talking about if you have an NFT project on a blockchain that tried to do grassroots money raise and had like a few $100,000, $1 million, something like that, or a game, not necessarily an NFT project. But if you shut down and you didn't quite get the momentum you needed, but when you raise $21 million, you don't get to pull that card. $21 million, if you're smart with your money, is years and years and years and years of runway. There was irresponsible spending at the very least to highlight, but these guys are just covering their asses, and the only side of their ass they have to cover is the one with the VCs and stuff like that. So they're never going to admit any wrongdoing, and they're never going to take any accountability. So I have very, like, for me, it seems on the surface like an honest, like an honest take, an honest.
Yeah. I mean, there's truth in what they're saying, right? There's truth in what they
but with what depth? Because old models don't work the way it used to. Yes, that's true. Of course, it's
That's
true.
why you adapt, right? That's why you adapt.
But how is that used on its own as a standalone statement in your thing? Yeah, I could say 1 + 1 = 2. That's true. But what does the fuck does that have to do with what went wrong? You know, it's just so, especially when you're part of these projects. There's not that many projects that raised more than 8 digits. I haven't finished my first coffee of the day yet. Not a lot of projects. There's quite a few of them, too many, and most of them are shut down that have raised 8 digits in this economy. Hello, Steven. Ooh, nice.
Oh, Mr. Steven.
What's good?
You want to join the shitting on the games, okay?
No. I just came in here to be the devil's advocate. Whatever that may be, you know, whatever side you guys are on, I'm gonna play the other side.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you listen, but we're on Cities Heroes, and this is a direct quote, okay, from them in their closure statement. Sometimes the best thing you can do is stop time. Old models don't work the way they used to. What the market was ready to fight for yesterday is now being automated, copied, or simply lost in the noise. And I think
Stark, I don't know if you know this, but you sound like you're in a tunnel.
Okay.
Are you using your webcam mic?
Might be.
Oh,
Yes, I am.
That's much better.
Oh my god, that's a lot better.
Unlock, why didn't you say anything?
30 minutes into the show, and you guys are just noticing? Damn.
I was under the impression that was like the quality of mic that you have, sir. Hey.
Okay. Anyway, now that we can actually understand what you're saying, okay, go on, sir.
What are you saying, that everything I've said so far is not understandable? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, I was understanding it, but, you know.
Oh Lord. Yeah, so it's basically what it comes off as is them trying to take accountability by not taking accountability. It seems it's a very hollow statement. And my main thing is when you're a project that has raised $21 million, you can't.
Yeah.
Your only card that you're playing can't be, oh no, market conditions be hard. You know, we're not talking about a game that had their first NFT thing and then they kept, like, let's say something that launched on RON and didn't sell the RON to USDC, and then there you can blame it maybe on market conditions. But when you raise $21 million from VCs, and as I was saying, Clair Obscur, Game of the Year last year, built for less than $10 million. So $21 million with very little to show for it.
I mean, we can go back even further, Stark. Like, we can go back to League of Legends. Like, that game was started by 2 college buddies, and that was like when they published it, it was less than $100,000. I mean, $100,000 when they first put it out.
So
that was back in the day, right? But
yeah, you're gonna get very little pity from me for games that raised 8-digit and didn't release a game. I think there's very little room there to try to be devil's advocate and explain to me what they did right.
Okay, wait. Who? Hold on. Let me try at least. Okay. All right. Okay. Who's the 8-digit game? I mean, 8-digit game, 8-figure raised game that didn't release. Who are you referring to here?
Well, did Cities Heroes release a game?
They did release a game, but it was not a full game. I think it was like more of a beta than an actual.
And if we can go to the previous slide, the first project we highlighted, Robot Cash, they released basically the $532 in revenue in 2024 with $30 million in spending in 2024.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, it's actually pretty normal for any businesses to, spend first, create the product, right? Revenue is something that comes on the later. Most builders, they think about the future, right? They think about 3, 4, 10, 5, whatever years into the future. They don't really care whether like your product actually makes money now. I mean, look at Amazon. It was the same thing, right? It's like Amazon was like negative.
I don't think Amazon raised 30 million just to get that level of revenue.
Well, it's not even about like what revenue it's bringing in, right? It's about like what are they actually trying to build. If you told me that these games they bit more than they can chew, I'd agree with you, right? I think looking at like how much they raised versus how much they brought in is like probably not the right way to look at this, because they could have been on the right track. Maybe they just didn't raise enough. Maybe they needed.
You let them cook.
Yeah, let me cook. Maybe they didn't actually raise enough. Maybe they didn't get the funding that they needed because they didn't even think they needed that much to get there, right? Like building a game is difficult. Now building a Web3 game is like 10 times more difficult, right? Because nobody even understands what a positive economy or in-game economy even looks like, right? Without like, you're trying to manipulate the economy yourself while also there's other people trying to extract from your economy at the same time. So it's like a complex situation versus like World of Warcraft, for example. You can just print gold, as much gold as you want. You can dictate how much gold everybody gets, right? And the black market.
You also have VC funds. It's not just the gamers, but everybody's trying to extract, right?
Yeah. So the VCs, they realize that the way that they get money is not through the game bringing in revenue, and they just want to get their quick, profits too. Right? If a VC puts $100,000 into your game, right, and then like after 2 years, that $100,000 is worth like $3 million. Okay, because in tokens, what do you think they're gonna do? If you're the VC and you don't sell it, you're actually straight up like that's malpractice.
Yeah. It's against your fiduciary duties.
That's actually what you're supposed to do. We are the ones who are like, oh yeah, I got $100K in here. Oh my god, it became $3 million. It's gonna become 20 million. I'm gonna retire forever. And then at 20 million, you're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna become 100 million. Like that's us normies. That's the brokies. This is our mentality. But those guys who build wealth, they don't care about that. They're like, I got 100K. This shit's already like, what, 30x? I'm out. I'm out. I'll go make money elsewhere because they've seen this movie hundreds of times, right? So the thing is, for the VCs, the money came actually way too quickly, right? That's why they are getting out. It just makes too much sense for them to get out, and then that just like crashes everything. So it's like, it's not a bad thing to be building these like Web3 games. I feel like people just don't understand how much money you need, the pace you need to go at, but also obviously the quality of the games.
How do you in your mind, how do you differentiate between a project that did their best, so to speak, and there was like, obviously if a game shuts down, especially very short of what it promised, very bad things happen, right? Whether it's intentional, like basically grifting, or just as you said, just for the sake of argument, like not raising enough or not enough foresight on certain things, or one person that was bad in a role or something like that. So how do you differentiate between projects that actually, like, how do we identify projects that actually tried and projects that were very clearly here to only, and I'm not saying the VCs here, I'm saying the guys who started the project. There's some serial grifters out there who just go from bubble to bubble, and that's their job, right? They're on AI right now. So how do we differentiate those in these shutdowns? Because some of them, and Robot Cash is one of them. When I'm seeing that makes me think of this, is like some that really could not give a fuck that they shut down and that they extracted all this money from all these people.
Yeah, I think good question actually. The more I think about it, and the more I surround myself with people who actually have money and like who and how they behave and things like that, I realize that it's quite unlikely most of these guys had very bad intentions when they first came in. I think it's extremely unlikely, actually. I think most people who have very bad intentions, they come in and they get out quickly. It's like you can just tell, like they won't even have not only they will not have a product, but like they're probably in and out in just like 1 month, 2 months. Like they're not going to spend too much time on it because they know like the payday is never guaranteed, right? Whereas like you got these guys who are here building for like 3, 6, 9, a year, 2 years, 3 years, still failing and still building. Like honestly, that's more them not realizing that they're already in a failed project, right? Than like you then thinking that, oh, these guys are just like trying to drain, something, right? I feel like those guys actually have good intentions. They just can't see that like something is already failed, and you just gotta move on.
Yeah, that's a very, very great answer, honestly. I think also in the middle, like to join you a bit in the middle there, I think also there might be guys who started with ill intentions and then the project kept going. Like think about an NFT project that so as to not seem like they've shut down and stuff like that, they'll keep paying a few Southeast Asian guys to run the Discord and their socials, and then they've already left. That's
yeah. Okay, well, NFTs is a little different, right? Because NFTs didn't take a lot of effort, right? No. It was like extremely minimal effort with high rewards, right? That had tremendous amount of grifters, right? Yeah. Because you launch, right? You launch, you collect the money, you're out, right? So within like it fits. It's like within 2-3 weeks, you're already done. Right. The only build up to it was literally the marketing that you had to do to like get people to FOMO in, right?
So you're saying it's purely. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say for games it was different because like you have to literally build. You have to hire a bunch of people. You have to constantly do it like little by little. You have to show snippets. You have to like get people to come in. You have to play. You have to spend so much time doing all these meetings and all this like stuff. And like you have to have your experience right before you came in. You have to leverage your own reputation, right, for the game, because if this game fails, then like that's it. Like no one's gonna work with you anymore. Especially you come in. I think Web3 gaming is like, where developers go to die kind of thing. It's like you either make it or you don't.
So it ties in, I guess, with what I was gonna sum up your point to, which is like, it's probably more incompetence than pure outright evil griftiness, and that ties those 2 points together, which is like if they can't succeed in Web 2, then they come to Web 3, and they're probably not. Some of them are not the most competent, either in their roles. It's like in any job, you could have someone who's really like, you could have a plumber who's a really good plumber, but he's not meant to be his own boss because there's so many other things than just being a plumber. So you could be a dev, but you're not meant to be a CEO of a project because that's a whole entire set of skills.
Yeah, it's true too. I mean, I would say like it wouldn't even be incompetence. It's like what you said, right? Like they could be extremely competent, but they might be in the wrong role. That's one thing. And two is like with any business, there's a tremendous amount of luck involved as well. Right?
Timing,
and timing, luck, like all of it, right? Obviously, the more aware you are of those things and the more you position yourself, the better chance you give yourself. I think the incompetence, as you would call it, I think comes more from like people not realizing when it's time to call it quits, pretty much. Just being like, okay, I think this is not working. We got to just like move on, like just do the next thing. I think one of the teams that's obviously extremely good at doing that was is Moku, right? Because they put out a bunch of projects where in people's eyes they would look successful, but for them it wasn't successful, right? So they instantly just like cut it out and just moved on to the next thing, right? And they're gonna keep doing that until they find the unicorn project, right? That like absolutely goes bananas. Like, yeah, exactly. Like for example, we see 2 million revenue from Grand Arena, right? And everyone's posting it. How many months has it been now? 4 months already, right?
2 months for the
2.5, yeah.
Well, 4 months since like they launched like the preseason and all that stuff. Yeah, like if you look at that 2 million revenue, honestly, it's pretty good for Web3 gaming, but by the standards of like anything else, it's like nothing, you know? So it's like, it still has a long way to go, and they know that, you know, because like they're extremely competent. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, is basically that anybody else in Web3 would probably would cut off a limb to get that amount of revenue, but they're already thinking, how do we get that higher, or what other project can we build to get that higher?
Yeah, like for example, right, if you want other people to get involved, for example, actual whales in this industry to get involved, right? They're not going to get involved looking at 2 million revenue. They probably make 2 million in a day on one trade. You know, like for them, that's nothing. So you need to like really start building on that. And like right now, it's still going to be attracting all the, how do you say, like just the gamers, sort of say, right? But for Web3 to truly be successful, in order to like build insane revenue and blah, 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 and so on, you need like all these trader guys, all these cabals, whatever, like
whales,
just, yeah. You need to like get their interest. And the only way to get their interest is by creating enough volume that it's like worth it for them to come in, because they need to feel like, okay, I can come in, I can buy this, I can sell this whenever I want to, and like, you know, the volume.
But isn't that like counterintuitive to what games or IPs should be? Like, games are built not in years but in decades, right? If you look at IPs like Pokemon, who has their own games, who has their own trading cards, they were not just a year company. They are a decade, 3 decades strong company. And if we're just gonna look at that, the idea that we just want to have someone like, you know, the whales to be able to trade and all that and be able to get their money out right away, isn't that gonna be counter to the idea of building long term?
No, not at all. I think games, markets, they all have cycles, just like anything else in the world, right? Like Pokemon had its own cycle, right? I mean, the most recent cycle we can look at was COVID. When COVID came, Pokemon blew up. Everything went like 100x or something on the cards. Then it went through like this 3-year drought, right? And over the last 2 years, that's when it started picking up again. You know, same thing with Pokemon back in whatever 2012 or whatever years that it had before that too, right? It has its cycles, it has its moments where things happen, but those cycles is what brings attention and then leaves behind like these like core fans, right? Who then like keep building with you along the way. But if your game has no attention, then who cares? It's just gonna die. Right? Like there's so many amazing games back in the Pokemon days that came out that I absolutely loved. I mean, like one that was like direct comparison to Pokemon, probably had equal fans at the time, was like Digimon.
Yeah.
You know, like that's one. There's still fans now, but it's like minuscule compared to like what Pokemon did, you know? And there's gonna be things like that. Like, and attention is extremely important. Right? We can go back, we can study those, and we can understand like, okay, why did this succeed? Why this didn't succeed? They had very similar stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay, who are the current core fans and so on? Like, can we mimic, can we recreate that? Probably could, honestly. You could probably recreate that a little bit. Like, that's why I have a lot of confidence in Axie, right? Because Axie from during COVID, right? And right after COVID, and what it did is it had so much attention that it's always going to be in your memory, no matter what. Yeah. Right.
SLP, AXS, for years to come, people will know the name.
Yeah, exactly. And even to this day, the tokens still have a lot of volume happening whenever you see some little spikes, right? The volume starts following because people remember it. They know what it is, right? So they trade it. And all those things is like slowly but surely continues to leave more memories in people's minds, right? So now it's like maybe it's in 2 years, 3 years, it might be in 10 years or 5 years. It doesn't really matter when it is. When that happens, like you will see actually have this like parabolic move once again. And when it does the next time, every single person who remembers Axie from like COVID is gonna get it. You know,
Which
they're gonna
is-
get involved again.
Which is virtually everybody in crypto has heard about Axie. Most people, like 87, I'm pulling this figure out of my ass, but like 70, 80, 90% of people in crypto got their first introduction to crypto with Axie. So
I mean,
even more
probably
so
the Web3 gaming side, right? Like,
Listen, not even them. No.
NFTs, everybody.
You have no idea
you don't
how
realize.
insane Axie is. Okay, you guys, like I played with in Dota. There was Eternal Envy. There's RTZ, right? Like I play with them, I coach them, whatever. And like, so I met with them. Like what was it? 2 weeks ago, I think. Was it last week? No, the 18th. Okay, on the 18th, right? I saw RTZ after like 7 years or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, what happened to that game you were playing? Baxi, Axie, you know?" Like he was like trying to like figure out what it was, you know. But like he knows, you know. That's the point. He knows what Axie is, right? He's like, "Oh yeah, you were doing so well in that and stuff. Like how is that going?" Like he remembers, right? That's the thing. It's not even about people who got involved. It's about people who remember the craze, who remember these tournaments, who remember these events, who remembers like everything Axie did. Like even if it's just like little fragments, right? They know it exists, right? Same thing with Eternal Envy. He also was asking me about that when I first met up with him again. You know, he's like, "Oh, that was really interesting. Like what happened with that?" Like he was asking me plenty of questions. You know, same way. There's probably like we might have had what I think in season 20 when I won. I remember there being over 3 million people on the leaderboard. Right? If you made a new account, the number was like over 3 million. Right? Right? If you were like because you just get in or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So probably more because there's like people who are like below the ranks, right? As well as like below like 1,200. So it's over 3 million. And you remember they had like some really serious rules where like, you know, you can't, you know, like take your Axies to another account and play. It got banned and they were worth a few $100s each. So people weren't really doing that. So I feel like the number was like kind of like not super accurate. I want to say like at least 70% of it was accurate, right? The whole like inflating numbers wasn't really a thing back then because like people didn't even know that you're going to do that. So yeah, I would say like 70% was probably at least real players. That's a lot, you know, but then you take that, I think it's fair to say there was at least 10 to 20x of that number of players who knew what Axie was.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, like who just heard or at least heard of it.
Yeah.
You know,
and that could be friends, family members, or just people in the space that one of the two who didn't play.
Exactly. I want to say it might even be like 50x or higher, right?
Yeah.
Like who know or heard of it. So if you consider all of those things, right, Axie has like that potential to one day do what, for example, what you said Pokemon did, right? But in its own way, right? I'm not saying that, you know, we had 100 million people watching Pokemon on TV, whatever. Axie did the same thing. No, we don't. But we have different like people. Right, we have different communities, different people who heard of this, and like who knows what the future holds, right? Who knows what happens to crypto in 5 to 10 years, right? But like people will remember, and other people who heard of it are gonna jump in, right? And then people who didn't have money back then, who have money at that point when Axie starts blowing up, are gonna jump in, right? So it's like whatever we saw in like 2020, 2021, Axie has the potential to break that by multiple X's in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, Pokemon is able to do it now after 30 years of existence, right? And we are still on our 8th year for Axie. So we have 22 years to build it up to that one, I guess.
But also, I think it's important to say, I mean, this is just my take on it, which is like, I don't think Pokemon set out to become a 30-year-old, you know, like become this big. That's, I think, trying to do that too much. I don't know. Tell me if I'm talking shit even, but I think that it's like you don't think that far in advance. You know, first of all, try to do something good now, and then it kind of happens more naturally. The legacy part of it.
Like I said earlier with these other games, it takes some tremendous amount of luck as well.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying about Axie is not that it's guaranteed. I'm saying that has the potential, right? Because like there's like certain parts and things that you notice that like can give that. In how did Pokemon actually blow up like over the last 6 years, right? It started with Logan Paul, you know, it started with Logan Paul during COVID buying like these like base set first edition whatever and like opening it live on stream and stuff. But how did Logan Paul get involved in Pokemon? Because when he was younger, he watched Pokemon, he collected Pokemon, he
Right.
learned about it, right? Now, what happens if Logan Paul didn't become famous? What if he, I don't know, he became a drug addict and just like he passed away at like 18 or something, right? What happens then? Will Pokemon have succeeded? Maybe, but it's unlikely that, you know, that thing that happened would have happened.
So
Right.
what you're saying is that our only hope is one of the Filipino babies named Ronan.
I'm rooting. If that's what it takes, right? But what I'm saying is like it's quite possible that one of those Filipinos like children who are watching their big brother play Pokemon, Axie, right, and couldn't play it, right? 10 years from now, pulls up Axie on like Facebook or something, starts playing it casually, and he's like one of the most famous streamers or whatever, and the game just blows up. You know, it's quite possible. Like anything can ignite it, right?
but that's
it's just
the
a
luck
matter
part.
of it's just a matter of is it existing, right? For Pokemon to be able to do what it did, they had to exist throughout that whole time period, right? There were times where you can
Keep
go
building.
to the store and you would see shelves of Pokemon cards and boxes just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
People were selling packs for like $4, right? Now you wouldn't be able to find a pack for under $8, you know, like. And that's not because Pokemon wants it to be $8. It's because like that's how much demand there is for it.
The people were pricing it.
Exactly, right? So it's like we cannot predict any of this. It's impossible. You could hold on to your asset for 20 years and it'll become zero as well, you know? So like it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, like you believe in something, you have a thesis, just hang on tight, just make sure you're never like over leveraged on whatever you're doing. And you know, just do things for the joy of it, right? And then like just see where it takes you. If you're a trader, that's a different story. Then if you're a trader and you're losing money, then you just suck. You know, that's it. Like there's nothing else to it.
I love the transition that happened that naturally here in this conversation. We went from gloomy, we were talking about the dead games, to actually a game that is still existing, is still building, and still continuing to, you know, nurture whatever that thing is that will take us to, I guess, to the next 20 years of its life.
And there's a small handful of these on. I would like to say, well, I'm not exactly the expert on games outside of Ronin, right? But I was just going to say that the handful of games and projects still building are on Ronin. You have teams like Moku, you have teams like I've been loving like the Kojin, the Realms with they're like pumping out more content recently in the midst of all these games shutting down. Were you aware, Theben, that Berlin and Kojin swept every single Kojin on the marketplace the other week?
I saw that. Yeah.
So I mean, the dollar amount was like, it's still significant, right? But it's a nice.
It's kind of. I mean, Kojin's really interesting because I love Berlin. I mean, I was back then I was helping him like with certain things and like. I really want Berlin to succeed, but like now my perspective over the last months has changed quite significantly, like on a lot of things. I think Berlin, obviously, he needs help. He's doing things himself, and like I feel like he has, like he's sunk so much time right into this. But it's not just time, right? Because let's say if he was doing something else, like he would have been making millions of dollars. I like knowing Berlin, like he would have been making a killing no matter what, right? So it's like this is a passion project for him, and he's done a lot, and like he obviously wants to succeed, but he needs help. He needs help bad.
What kind of help do you think he needs?
He needs help somehow. I don't know, like whether it's like Ronin, Axie, people, like he needs support from the people. Like he just doesn't get enough support, in my opinion. For him to like his output versus like his community output is like not the same. at all.
Yeah.
It's probably like 100 to 1 ratio, you know?
Yeah.
And like I think that's like a big problem. He let go of like some of his employees, right, who are like supporting him, who are like working with him. So I know that he's doing this all by himself at this point. Someone's got to see what he's doing and be like, yo guys, like what the fuck are we doing, you know, like why are we not supporting this? Or he's got to realize that at this rate it's not going to work out, you know. One of the two needs to happen. I feel like with the community behind him, they can definitely push. I think Ronin like should definitely take a look. But if they feel like they can't help him, I feel like they should let him know. You know, I feel Berlin is still like, was like, hello guys, like, are we gonna do this? You know, and he continues to build. Like, he built something insane, to be honest, especially considering he did it by himself. You know, and like with his own money, and like I think they only raised like one time.
Yeah.
You know, and
from the Kojin sales.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, right? And then you know, they did everything the best they can. They got a validator, and then from the time they bought a validator, Ron dumped like 95%. You know, so and then they had to sell the validator because like it just didn't make sense, because keeping it up didn't make sense, especially now, you know, we're transitioning. So yeah, I feel like if it doesn't get the support of the community soon, or like someone to come in, then it just doesn't make sense. I think already at this point it's not making sense, but knowing Berlin and how resilient he is, like he's just powering through it. You know.
So if you scroll up a bit there, Boom, the video there is just basically them saying that Epic Games has asked them to delist the game because it has Web3 in the name, and they've decided not to. So we have till the end of May on Epic Games if you want to try out the game, and I think there's a free open playtest at the end of May, and then after that it's going to be a fully downloadable client in Q1 of 2027 is basically what he's saying in that short video. So May is your chance to, if you haven't played it yet, as you saw a bit of the gameplay footage there. It's like it's definitely more fleshed out than some of these games we're featuring today, and they did not raise $50 million like Wildcard.
Yeah.
And then Q1 of 2027.
Oh, is Wildcard dead now?
Yeah, Wildcard is dead. That was the next game we were going to feature.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We can chat about that next if you want.
It's so funny. I was talking with.
Let's go to the slide.
Not a year ago. Yeah, I think it was a year and a half ago, or maybe it was 1 year ago. Actually, maybe it was exactly 1 year ago. I was talking with Arbitrum. Right? They were on Wildcard, right? Wildcard was on Arbitrum, right? Yeah. So I was talking with Arbitrum, and I was like trying to, you know, sell a service. Like, listen, I can spot the winners if I needed to, you know. And I was telling them about Wildcard. They were telling me about Wildcard. They're like, oh, this is gonna be the next big game. This is one of our big. And I spent like a day just looking through everything, and I come back to them, and I'm like, guys, this game is bad. It makes no sense. Like you're playing a game where you need to play with a teammate, right? I think at that time you had to be 2v2, right? Yeah. I'm like, you're playing a Web3 game where it's 2v2. You already lack like player liquidity. Now you need to find somebody else to play with, and then you need to find two more people on the other side to play against. And the whole game is designed as this PvP thing where it's like one skill expressive, right? This game is doomed just right there, right? They had no plans on how to get people to be able to play some kind of story mode, or some way to get people to play if they don't have friends to play with or somebody else to play with. How are you going to solve the player liquidity? Then you had AI coming up, and how to implement AI into your game. Like, they had none of that, right? So they essentially brute forced the game, had a concept, and we're like, oh, this is a really cool concept, let's just do it, but we're gonna need this much money. And then they build it, and then, oh, what the fuck, nobody's playing? Like, why? Right? Like,
I think that's most of the problem, because that's similar to the problem that RoboCash had. Like,
well, it's quite simple, you know. Nobody thinks that something can go wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's like this
So
toxic
optimistic.
positivity, right? Everyone has this toxic positivity when they're building shit,
Uh-huh.
but it's stupid. Like most of the best builders, like I've seen, are extreme cynicals.
Mm.
They always believe what could go wrong will go wrong, so they work backwards. They
Yeah.
think about what could go wrong, and then they like start solving it before it even happens,
Mm.
right? So whenever I see teams not doing that, and they're just like, oh yeah, this will be fine, oh yeah, this will work, and then like they don't even see the problem. You see, like when you catch a red flag, just get out. When it sounds like they're selling you a dream, and like you start asking the questions and they don't have an answer, get out.
Mhm.
Because that means they themselves didn't think it through. So when I saw their doc for Wildcard, and I was like looking at this, and I'm like, okay, these guys want to do like some kind of Overwatch, like some kind of PvP hybrid type game, but then they want it to be like Web3. I'm like, yeah, you guys are dead. I told them right away. I'm like, you keep pouring money into this, you're just burning money. Like, it's pointless, right? And they're like, oh yeah, no, I think they're gonna be great. We'll see. And here we are. I think since then they probably raised like twice the amount of money, maybe more.
Yeah,
right?
they're at over 50 million raised.
That's insane. That's absolutely
mental.
absurd.
And they ceased all operations 3 days ago.
They launched the token 1 month ago.
And so they
plummeted.
They burned the tokens. They've airdropped the USDC treasury to franchise holders. And for the CTA, for anybody like if you're invested in Wildcard, there's one thing you need to know, and do not ignore this. But if you participated in season 1, you need to complete KYC by May 10th.
KYC.
Yes, you need to complete KYC by May 10th, or you will not receive your payout. And if you don't do it by May 10th, there's no redos. There's no rematch. That the game will shut down and your funds are gone. Oh, whatever's left. Yeah. Something here about the IP being preserved. So I'm like, whatever the fuck that means. But yeah, they actually built things. They built franchises, leagues, and infrastructure on top of it, and it's all gone in a single announcement.
That's the other problem that I have with this Stark, because they did build those things, right? And they minted franchise NFTs, I think, or I'm not sure what form of mint happened, but there was some form of funding that happened in there for franchises, the leagues, and all of that. And that happened like a couple of months ago, and they're now shutting down. So
yeah, it's like the Web3 layer that they built on top of games is collapsing faster than the games themselves. Yeah. Well, I think that the fourth. Let's move on to the fourth project. We were going to talk about Pirate Nation as well.
Yeah.
That's
so this one is the this one isn't recent. This one was from August 2025. But why does this matter? Because this is one of those games that were created by someone that is, I guess, competent, supposedly, for creating games. So he was a co-creator of Farmville, a former CEO of Zynga.
Jesus.
And he built Proof of Play to do Web3 gaming, right? His name is Amit Mahajan. And the Pirate Nation as a game was actually decent. It was a good game. You can play it. You can just farm. You can play it single player, or you can go to other players' island and all of that. But I don't know.
This phrase, this direct quote saying, "We're done giving away tokens to parties that have no alignment with our long-term success." As you shut down, for me, that just like, how is this not realized beforehand? Like, I don't know. It's just poor.
They're saying that play to earn is fundamentally broken. I'm not sure what your guys.
It's their job to make sure that it's their job to make sure that they're giving away tokens in a way that aligns with their long-term success. They can't just give them out willy-nilly when everything's pumping, and then when things are going down, it's like, God damn, these guys are not aligned with us. Why are they not aligned with us? It's like, you guys are the ones that raised millions of dollars and were supposed to make sure that they were aligned with you.
Yeah, the reward system is just, I think P2.
I don't know. For me, the connecting point with all these projects shutting down and stuff like that, it's like I'm just seeing a resounding lack of accountability from these projects shutting down. You know, you're not seeing a heartfelt apology. You're not seeing, it just feels not enough accountability is being taken for the failure. I'm sure even a game where people just paid $5-10 on Kickstarter or whatever that didn't quite get to his thing would have more. Like here, when you take so much of people's money, you owe them at least a sincere apology, and you don't even see that in these posts. It's just such corporate lawyer BS, so they don't expose themselves. It feels there's just zero accountability being taken.
But the thing is, like, what do you want them to do, right? It's like, for me, it's the same. I agree with you, right? If they told you, like, you know, like, fuck, we fucked up, we sucked at doing this part, we didn't see this, and then whatever, it's like, sure, it makes you feel nice and all, but it's like, it's all business at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
But it would get more, for me, they'd get more credibility. Like,
no. But that's what you think, right? You think you would get more credibility from you, but it won't give them more credibility going into their next job.
I guess.
You know,
but
like,
then,
you go into the next job,
yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're some incompetent loser who just like admitted that you suck." You know, like, why would I hire you, right? Instead, it's like, "Oh, well, we could just blame." They can just blame something else, and then they go into their next job interview, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, it didn't work out because of X and X. Not my fault."
Yeah,
you know?
Like, it didn't work out because we gave away tokens to parties that have no alignment with our long-term success. Fuck
Yeah,
these guys.
they're not gonna say any of that, you know, or maybe they might. They might actually say that. They might be like, oh yeah, the VCs fucked us, right? But our game was great, right? And you know that whoever's hiring is never gonna do the due diligence to go and play the game and see like, oh, actually this game sucks. So it's all just like, you know, that's why I think they don't do it. But, you know, I could be wrong. Like you said, maybe something related to lawyers and stuff. But you got to think, like, what is in their best interest? Is it in their best interest to, like, get support from the community, or is it in their best interest to cover their reputation the best that they can?
Yeah, I guess. But in that case, you don't have I agree with you in that way, that's the most realistic outcome, right? What I'm wanting is more idealistic. But at the very least, then you don't bash on the gamers that sold the tokens that you gave them, right? It's like, anyways, it's like, if they were good enough to write a proper apology, they would have probably been good enough to build a successful game. So that's why, even at the start, when you were saying this guy with so-called, like, a successful guy, you also, I don't know. I was going to say, when you also can judge people on their failures, right? Not just because they did one breakout success in the past, but also all you need is one breakout success and everybody calls you a genius.
But I mean, failures don't sell, right? I mean, I don't know. Would you play someone that says that, oh, I was the CEO of this failed game? So will you be doing that? Even though you have, like, other games that actually were successful?
I know for sure that if I Google any of these guys in the future, I'll make sure not to invest in anything they invest in.
Well, you have a list now.
I don't
the
think
list is getting long.
Listen. To be honest, I don't think any of these guys have any problem getting jobs, because, like, when they work with, you know, these, like, VCs, they work with, like, all these other people and connect, and, like, you know, they build good relationships, right? Because when people are you know, raising money and doing stuff, like, they know who to suck up to, you know. Like, these like you said, the CEOs or whatever, like, they're not stupid, right? They know, like, they also know when something fails, they also know, like, oh, these are the toes I don't want to step on. These are the people I want to have good relationships. These are the people who I want winning, right? And then you scratch their back, they scratch yours, right? Afterwards. So it's like,
fuck anybody who thinks that it's okay to step on your community's toes without
Yeah,
any fucking
that's
consequence.
that's the
Fuck
thing,
those guys.
right? Like that's the thing, right? Like we see it that way, but they see it. They're playing a different game, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's
Well-
not. But at the same time, it's not like, you know, when we go into their community, we're also kind of expecting to make some money, right? It's just like so everybody's playing a game at the end of the day.
Yeah, and another game we won't be playing in the future is Pixel Heroes Adventure. that game we won't be
Oh
playing.
man, this one hurts. This one hurts. This one was
This one is
built
close to
I mean,
home.
yeah, close to home. Built on Ronin Network, and unfortunately has shut down on the 15th of April. They built for 4 years, and they just started with 4 people back in 2020. They were acquired by a company called Nexus. It's a South Korean company, and yeah, this one is a little bit controversial because they did like a cross chain with cross network between Ronin and cross chain. When they did that, there were a lot of people from Ronin that had like somewhat like a bad taste in their mouth when they did like the cross chain thing, and I think that was the start of the fall off for players playing the game, and I think it may have went downhill from that point forward.
Yeah, I think that it's now important to look at I mean, it's we said that there's a lot of luck involved in building a good project, but I also think that a lot of these shutdowns are not just they're not just due
business.
to
I said
business,
not even projects.
Yeah, but I'm saying here it's not, these shutdowns are not what I dislike, or when they say that it's market conditions or they blame it on the community or stuff like that. It seems like it's like anything is good to blame but themselves, and almost like they're more like they'll call it bad luck, but there's more to that. I think there's definitely a pattern between these failures, right? And we're gonna do our best to like tie it all together for the end of the show about like what for Ronin specifically, what that means, and the transition to proof of distribution. Because if we can move to the next slide, one sec. Yeah, so we in the show prep we like highlighted these little points. We need the game, like I guess proof of distribution will allow, I guess hopefully, games to build out a game before they what, I don't know, before they do something.
I think a proof of distribution is actually gonna help, especially because I think we touched on it earlier. Kojin, right? Theban was saying that
Yeah, that's
they
a good
should
point.
get like some, or
Or
Berlin
backing.
needs like some form of support, and I feel like by having the proof of distribution layer, it's gonna be a lot easier for Berlin to create a stream flow for money for the project and all of that.
But also visibility also, right? If he's excelling in certain metrics, it's going to be harder to ignore.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to reward the real builders.
Yeah,
the
and,
real people that are.
For me, the idea behind proof of distribution is also you need to create a game, you need to create an audience, you need to garner some attention before you unlock some funds, which was the opposite of all these games, which is they got their VC funds, then they had to build, then they had to prove that they could get some attention, and then even the ones that did it right, it wasn't enough too. So we'll see if this new approach helps.
That's the thing that I'm really confused about how Web3 operates, because in Web 2, right? I mean, I'm just gonna take League of Legends as my example here, because I worked back then with League of Legends, so I know a little bit of history. Before, or when they launched, when Mark Merrill and his buddy launched League of Legends as a college thing or a college project that they were doing, they didn't have money. They were doing it in the like an old PC and all of that, and they the only time that they got money or funding was when they were able to actually put it out there, when there was actually a game that is being played by 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's something that is not a thing here apparently in Web3. It's always like, oh, we've raised a lot of money, and yeah, you should be playing our game because we have a lot of money to give away, and that doesn't work. We
Clearly.
know that, we know that now, right? So yeah, I hope that the proof of distribution actually does that, and we should be able to get more quality games on Ronin. So I'm hopeful about that. But what's your take on this one, Theban?
Sorry, what was the question? Because I was working.
Like about how proof of distribution changes the attempts to change the model basically of these games getting they get all the money first, then they have to build, whereas proof of distribution is trying to do it so that you have to show something. It's like you get something, you get things in unlocks as you show that you're capable of building something, as you show that you're capable of garnering attention. Right.
I mean, I just hope like these kind of things is just not too late, right? I wish, like, obviously it sounds cool, and you kind of wish like it just kind of happened before the last run or whatever. But let's just see what happens, right? I'm more interested nowadays to see like when are all the unlocks done. I'd rather tokens be all completely unlocked and then have a potential to do something crazy naturally, or have like new buyer come in and pick everything up and like create volume on their own, than like have like all these unlocks just like looming, you know. I think AXS is almost done, right? Unlocking everything. I feel like it has very little left. Kind of interested to see that, but if it does, I feel like, to me, that's theoretically a buy signal. But if everybody sees it as a buy signal, so maybe it's not a buy signal.
The buy signal is slightly later, maybe.
yeah, something like that. So you might just like wait until like all those guys buy, then price goes down a bit, then you buy
wait
it.
for the fake out, and
yeah,
then buy
I think
after.
something like I feel like there's something huge. If you believe in Axie the way that I think like it has potential to do something, it might be worth it. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Exactly. And speaking of Axie, while we were prepping for the show, a game that was being talked about in the last 24 hours in the CT actually just popped off out of nowhere. The game is called Axie Den of Mysteries. And essentially is... let's let the music is too loud, Mr. Producer Man.
No, that's me. I had it muted, but I was like, let's listen to this shit. Yeah. So I purposefully have not played yet so that we could go through the tutorial together. We'll just go through this quickly. I do believe next week we'll have Jihos on to go through all of this and other things as we ramp up to the migration on the 12th of May. So Jihos is coming on next week on the 7th. But yeah, let's just go through this tutorial. Go ahead and you've played it already, so give us.
Yeah. So this game is actually a collaboration. Who knew, right? Between On-Chain Heroes and Axie Infinity. Jihos earlier in the day, or a couple of hours ago, was I guess somewhat trolling or marketing the game ahead of its launch, and it was really effective.
Oh, wait, so it is a partnership, or it's not?
It is a partnership. Lower right hand side, you will say On-Chain Heroes.
So the whole thing about it being stolen was
it's a fucking marketing
so a fun marketing ploy for once.
Yeah, it was a really good banter in the CT. Fans from both sides, Ronin and On-Chain Heroes, were on the comment section. It was fun to watch, and I even tweeted about it, and yeah, it was so good. But yes, this is an Axie version of the popular game from On-Chain Heroes called the Maze of Gains. So our version on Axie or on Ronin is called the Den of Mysteries, or DOM. So Axie DOM is what it's called. So yeah,
you do levels. You have 100 stamina. It costs you $2 per run. Which one here? Just so I can go through it. I don't need to restore stamina, right? Because I get 10 for going through the portal.
You
block 2 hits. Do you lose stamina when you get hit?
Yep, you lose stamina when you get hit by the monster and when you attack. So
do you think Tough Hide or Magnetic Pull?
I think Tough Hide is actually good.
Could have re-rolled also.
Okay, there's a block there, and if you go to the portal, you'll get to the next stage. And I think the idea of the game is to go through as much treasure as you can and get to as much floor as you can.
What? This seems broken.
Yeah, free moves.
I mean,
yeah.
Isn't this the same?
No, those are rare. There's there's rarity as well, so that is a better one.
Is the sprint thing every level?
No, that is just 15 moves, and then after that, it's gone.
Okay, I guess it's slightly better because if you're capped at 100, it basically means you have 115 stamina.
Yeah. But I think your stamina level upgrades as well, because I was at 150 earlier.
Holy shit! There's a lot of mobs here.
Oh, just go through them. Just plow through them.
Fuck them up.
Yeah, fuck them up.
So
you get stamina as well. There you go.
Okay, so this game has people you pay to do your runs, and there's like a weekly cash leaderboard, right? That's shared between all the players. So
yeah, the game is live for as long as we are streaming. Because the game launched at the same time.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant they're taking it down as soon as we go.
and it already is. I think there's a prize pool, a weekly prize pool right now. It's at 1,800.
Oh shit! What was that?
And
oh god!
Earlier this was 0. So I guess this is the amount of dollar that is being put into the game by players. So there's already 1,800 in the weekly pool, and I think there's a
what
leaderboard.
Is this? Can I hit
it? That's the thing that I bumped into earlier as well. I don't know how that works.
Right.
I have no clue.
I'm out of here.
Just go to the portal. But this is the new game coming in from Axie, and I'm glad that Theban actually touched on this one earlier. He mentioned something about Axie. Even though one game may shut down, an example was an Axie Classic back in the day shutting down or halting the rewards for it. There are still other games that you can play on, and this is one of them now.
Cool.
Axie DOM.
If you're in chat and you've tried this game, feel free to.
I'll tell you what I think, guys. All right.
Okay.
You know, out of all the threads I saw yesterday, right? I was just like going through the pictures. People were making jokes and all this stuff. This wasn't even like the thing that caught my eye. Okay, I like what they did. The banter. It was interesting. It was fun, right? G-Holes, I think, is a genius. Like when it comes to those kind of things. There was a post that I forgot who it was that made it. Where they put on-chain heroes into an Axie game. Do you remember that? Into a classic game.
Yeah. I saw that tweet as well. Yeah.
You guys remember that? You know what I'm talking about. Can we pull that up? Can you pull that up?
I feel like I want to re-roll here.
Yo, this guy's just playing his game. He's not even listening.
Yeah.
What?
Oh no! You lost
died.
$2. Oh my god.
No. Did I lose my $2?
I don't know.
Fucking hell, mate. The fuck?
Oh no!
All right. Wait, I'm cooking here. Okay, just listen.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Let him cook.
Stop playing your
Okay, you can pause
2D
it.
game, bro.
This is the good thing about it. You can pause it. Okay.
Okay.
It's not even
As long
2D. It's like your 16-bit game.
It's all my TikTok.
We're literally.
brain
I
is
feel like
able to
like
play.
every day we go backwards in time. You know, with the games that we build. You know.
Okay. So what post were you looking for?
Soon we're gonna be using rocks to play games, right? We're gonna be like drawing with rocks. We're gonna be playing tic-tac-toe, and we're gonna call it innovation. Right? We'll go back to the caveman ages. So so that's what happened. Okay, I see. So we were like once this great civilization, but we were so great that we had to go backwards to innovate.
Called
Right?
cycle.
So
We
then
were
we
talking about
became
that earlier.
cavemen again. Okay, so we
Okay.
became cavemen.
So
So it
what's-
wasn't a
what's-
meteorite. It wasn't some fucking ice age. It was just
It's-
us
it's
going
Web3.
backwards.
Web3 gaming, baby. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the thread you were looking for, my friend.
There you go.
Okay, that one.
That
There
would
we
be-
go. Okay, let's open that up for me real quick. Right.
Yeah.
So I was looking. Click the picture. Click the picture. Just click the picture, not the thread. I don't care about who's writing in there. Okay. Okay. I was looking at this, right, and
Okay.
I was thinking while looking at this picture, I was like, God damn, it looks so nice. I was thinking, if those were Pokemon there, right, would I play it? 1,000,000% I would play it.
Yeah.
You know, if that was like a little Charmander, a Pikachu, you know, and like I'm building like all these like random 3v3 teams and we're like fighting each other with like these cards that go out all at once. If Pokemon created this game, I swear to you, it would be one of the hottest games,
Right.
you know? And I was thinking, like, actually, wait a minute. Sky Mavis actually created an insane product. Right? We all know that it was an insane product. It was an amazing game. It was like this poker type card game that we all stepped away from. Now they can
Yeah.
bring it back. But then I started thinking, like, okay, well, how can we make it better? How can we make it into something that people want to play without having to like fucking put Pokemon in there, right? For IPs. I was thinking, if Sky Mavis is like partnered with all these other games and like is Ronin and like they work with all these other like, you know, games that come in and stuff, why not just do what Fortnite does?
Yeah.
You know, why not just get all these other IPs and create cards and create like little, you know, 3D whatever things for them too. You know, what if there were Wild Force units in Axie Classic, right, with their
That
own
would be
card
interesting.
set? Right, and then every like couple months they will launch like this new NFT collection, right,
Mm.
where like you can breed with each other, blah blah blah, and then like you get these card sets and then different stats, and then you just keep developing it, right?
Are you saying I could use my Kojin to whoop your Mystic Axie, maybe?
Yeah, sure, why not, right? What if Kojins
Dragon
were an
Bank.
Axie? Yeah, what? Because like the thing is, the reason why I think it works is because we've all been wanting new cards in Axie Classic. That's how you develop the game, right?
Right.
And then there's a source of like revenue that's constantly coming in because you know you're gonna be releasing a new set all the time, and then like the game stays fresh.
And
Yeah.
you highlight like the games that are being built in the community also with your biggest spotlight.
Of
Yeah.
course, exactly. Oh, and you and people will say things like, "Oh, but then you know you guys are playing favoritism and you're not giving this to these people." Shut the fuck up. Okay?
Well,
Shut the fuck
the-
up.
the
Just
advantage-
let the cook happen. Let it cook. Let's at least get something started,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then feel privileged and feel like it's a blessing if your game actually gets in because you get to fucking work with Axie Infinity. Okay, and then just like see it as a goal, right? Every game should see it as a goal to be able to get into Axie Classic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not talking about just games on Ronin. I'm talking about games across everything, right? I want to see fucking Bored Apes within the game one day,
Mhm.
right? Because they feel like it's an honor to be within the game, right? Like I feel like this is the path that you would want to go on because I look at this picture and not only the nostalgia hit me, but I just started thinking about all these other possibilities.
Mm.
You
Yeah, I'm
know?
glad that you actually brought that up because when we did the interview with Jiho, he did touch on interruptibility for NFTs. He even joked about integrating like dead NFTs to Atia's legacy through accessories and all that stuff. So I think they are looking into that one. Like they are looking into, but it's not probably gonna happen just yet. But
that was for dead projects. We're talking about live
yeah,
live projects.
I mean, if we can do it for dead projects, you can do it for live projects.
Yeah, and maybe we can start with. How about we start with the 3 projects left in Web3, and then we can go on with the 999,000 dead projects if we have spare time. No, but that's. I guess I first of all, I didn't see this post, but I wouldn't have thought of that necessarily. Like that very cool idea of which, when you say it, sounds obvious, and I hope they're also thinking it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, people are not thinking about it, you know? Like, okay, we're focused on Atia's Legacy. I don't want to shit on Atia's Legacy or something. I think Atia's Legacy is going to be a great game on its own. But if you think about revenue, and if you think about games, like, people thinking Atia Legacy because they think that Web3 economy, right? It's like perfect fit because you're exchanging currencies and all this and stuff, right? But the games today that bring in the most amount of money is actually TCGs. You know, that's the reality. It's like new set comes out. Well, Pokemon, One Piece. I mean, obviously they have insane IPs, so it might not be the same. But if you look at like Magic, if you look at some of these newer TCGs that are coming out, they make a fuck ton of money in like the first years. Yeah. Funny enough. And I think for something like Axie, which was literally started off as a TCG, this auto battler, but it's technically a TCG, to be honest, with how it works. You got to kind of lean into what all the people who came to play your game wanted from the beginning, right? Imagine if Magic the Gathering started making, like, I don't know, a MOBA.
No, that's going to be dope. Jace
Bellick. No, it's not. It's not. It's not gonna be dope because they're fucking people who buy Magic the Gathering cards and play their games can't fucking play with a mouse and keyboard. You know, they don't even know what a mouse and keyboard is. That's why they go in person to play cards.
I mean,
you know?
I play Magic the Gathering. I know some of the lores, but you know, I play a lot of games too. I mean,
yeah. But Godlike, this is what I'm telling you, right? You think it's cool, but that's why they will build a failed project, because the concept, the idea is cool, but you got to think about who the fuck is actually playing your game, right? And what do they want, you know? So that's why I think with Classic, it was already great. I'm sure at some point they will revive Classic, but it needs to have a different twist to it, you know? It needs to be different. It needs to adopt things that actually work with these other games, but also like, how do you expand on your ecosystem, right? And Axie is like the king of Web3 gaming, but it needs to be more than that, right? It needs to literally devour all these other games, and it needs to like take in their communities too somehow. And I think the best way to do that is probably incorporating their NFTs, but in a different way. You need to create new cards, because that's how all your older players are going to enjoy the game too. You know, instead of it just being like, oh, we're just going to throw in this, like, you know, archer from Wild Forest in here, but it's going to have the same parts as everybody else. It's just going to be a skin. No, that's lazy and that's garbage. You know, that's fucking stupid. Like, stop doing that. It doesn't work anymore. Like, it's just like the easy. It's like they want to do the laziest, minimal, most effort possible. You want to do it right? Create new cards. Get your all the other players start like want to buy this thing, because like you can create something different, right? Yeah. Let all these theory crafters, let all these guys who actually want to play the game feel like, oh, there's life in this.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Maybe something that we can suggest to whoever is gonna be manning the Axie Classic scene, because I think there was conversation around. I'm not sure if you've read on that one, Stark, like the voting for who's gonna be taking care of Axie Classic and Origin and all that stuff. I think
I didn't see there was a voting thing.
I think that's gonna be up for vote for. I just read it somewhere, I think, in the Axie Discord. But yeah, there is going to be some updates in the future, and hopefully we can have that as a suggestion. I really like the idea of the using other NFTs. I think we can probably because here's my thing, because you mentioned about Wild Forest earlier, Theban, right? The problem that I have with that one is that most of the players that are on Wild Forest actually came from Axie. So there is like little growth in that expansion. So probably targeting these type of partnerships that they are doing with this, I forgot the name of this game that they partnered, Heroes.
Yes and no. I don't completely agree with that. I think it's possible that a lot of the players did play Axie, but I feel like everybody in Web3 who's a gamer probably played Axie at some point. But when I was in Wild Forest community and like Aperon and whatever other games I might have joined, I noticed there was a lot of core people who were not Axie players or didn't even try Axie. You know, because like for example, Aperon came from another chain, right? Before they came to Ronin, I think it was on Ethereum. So, Wild Forest kind of the same. They brought in like a different group of players, because it was just a different type of game, you know.
Right,
so
right.
it's like, I think it's more so to like bring back those guys too, right? Like you want to bring something fresh. So it's like, oh shit, what is that? It's kind of cool, you know. Like I'm just using them as an example. I'm just using Wild Forest as an example because, like, you know, it's just an example, right? But it doesn't have to be Wild Forest. It could be anybody else. Like it could be anything. Like I said, it could be penguins, right? Like it could be fucking whatever.
Sappy seals.
Yeah, like whoever is interesting, but it has to be very like intentional and not just like random skins. Right, like skins work when your game is, you know, lively and like you can throw anything at them and they will buy it, right? This needs to be more like I'm kind of building on this game, you know. This is like something that's going to be added on top, and then we're going to keep building on it, and like players are going to start seeing that, oh, we're actually bringing life into this. Let's go and see what's happening. Maybe this is the comeback, you know. People start playing the game and there's new cards now. They're gonna enjoy it more, right? And it's nostalgia is gonna kick in, you know. I feel like Axie Classic has been down for long enough that, you know, you throw in something new, people are gonna be like, holy shit. But I don't want to just have some balance change, you know. You need something new.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see new metas coming in from those NFTs. Yeah, that would be. But there's like a level of I guess intricacies in terms of like how do you even implement that? Like what kind of
why?
Because they have like, I mean, they don't have like Axie parts, right? And the core.
Yeah,
the core of Axies are their parts, and that's why that's the reason why the prices are different from each other, because, you know, the combination are different.
The price is very close to zero at the moment, even for very strong Axies.
So the thing is, right, whatever it is that's a logic problem, right? You just think about, okay, how do we want to create the logic and have this, like, do we want these other things being able to breed with each other, right? Will some parts just be associated with certain things, you know? Like, can we create something where it's like 50-50? Maybe we just suddenly create a hybrid unit, right? Or hybrid, like something with an Axie and an Archer or whatever, right? Like there's no limit to that, right? Or maybe we just want things to breed with each other, right? Like Wild Forest units can only breed with Wild Forest units, right? Like it doesn't really matter. The point is, like, you sit down, you give it like a couple of weeks to create the logic, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, and with the especially with the power of AI now, right? Like there's a lot of use cases for Claude nowadays that you can probably make those.
Yeah, really, and it's not gonna make as many mistakes probably, you know. But like as long as like you have someone competent to look over everything and be like, no, this is stupid, try again, or like, or fix it like this, or blah blah blah. Again, it won't take you. I don't think the logic to create something sustainable will take longer than 2 weeks, max. Right? If you gave me 1 week, I can create you that logic, for like the breeding system plus, like I'll probably work on it like 20 hours a day, but like still, like I'd probably finish the logic within like a week easily, and while considering what problems could arise. What I'm saying is it's not impossible, right? We need to stop putting these constraints on ourselves before we even start. You know, like if you don't try, you don't even know if the constraint is real or not.
True. It could just be all in your mind.
That's the problem. All these constraints are in your mind. Every single person that I've ever worked with that told me they can't do something, usually within a day, I'm like, no, you can't. Like, I go try it myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, you can actually do this. And then they're like, oh wait, and then they just look stupid every time. It's like, why? I think people are just lazy. Period.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we may have gone a little bit over time, and I think we can get this show to a close, Mr. Sark. How do you feel?
That sounds good. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
It took an unexpected turn when our old friend Steven returned. Thank you for coming in, adding some much needed
spin.
I have to admit that when you were like saying, when I was like bashing on these games and you were like, I doubted you when you said I'll be devil's advocate on that. That's just another reminder to never doubt Steven.
Never doubt.
So did I actually convince you to see a different side of it?
Yeah,
or?
Of course. No, I think if there's one thing I take away from this is with the point that stuck the most with me that you made was about grifters don't build for 4 or 5 years in a space. They can, like, even for a share of X million dollars, they can get a share of hundreds of thousands of dollars in a week, and they can do that over and over. And it's like, that's the best for their mode of operation. That's the best. That's the smart way to go forward, right? You don't just plus there's like less stake to your reputation when you do it over a week. People forget about that stuff very quickly. Whereas if you're a household name for 4 years, it's just a bad business model for scammers. Even though it's obviously not that simple, right? Some projects probably gave up along the way and decided, oh well, you know what, fuck it, let's just pay ourselves till the end. Like, this is doomed anyway. It doesn't mean that they get off, that they all conducted themselves very ethically, right? But the intention at the very least, you convinced me.
Yeah,
probably the intention with most of them was not to do this from the get-go.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all game theory, right? Like, you just think from their perspective. You think about, like, what is it that they're trying to achieve or attain, or what is it that they're trying to gain from all this, and then you kind of understand who's actually grifting, who's actually here to do something, and what their intent or purpose is. So
follow the money. Game theory, I guess, also. But yeah, was a fun show. I need to get back to playing Axie Den of Mysteries and wasting all my run.
Oh my god, $2 per pop, and you are gonna fund the weekly pool for the Axie Den of Mysteries. And thank you again for joining us, Mr. Steven Stark. And
thanks for having me.
For those that are still watching, I hope you guys enjoyed that one.
So shout out to everyone who's still here watching, and shout out to all the games that are still building. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week for a special show with Jihos, and you'll see more gameplay of this Axie Dome, and we'll get more insight because on the 7th, that'll be 5 or 6 days until migration. So it'll be interesting to get some insight on his behalf about all this. We can talk to him also. We can tie the two shows together, ask him about his thoughts about these games shutting down, because he was even quote when Pixel Heroes Adventures shut down, he was even, I think, in a tweet or something, said that more Ronin closures are coming too, like not too hard, like more rough times are ahead, but it's the opportunity also to double down on the names that you believe in, the games that you enjoy playing. And yeah, Play and gamble responsibly, guys.
Gamble responsibly. All right. Thank you again for joining us. This has been Gunlock and Stark and 1437. And see you again next time. Same channel. Peace. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everything above the table, I'm starving. See a nigga ball Steve Harvey. Blowing up the dome, no Sharpie. Working out, looking like a Barbie. Kid, better not red boy like Cardi. Yo, once it gets smoked by Marley. This ain't no game, no Atari. Land moving bad like a Tony Darby.
1, 2, 3, still pro with the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping on the jet. Touchdown, NY, John on the way. Brown skin, light skin, she woke up today. Since I fly a lot, Bird tell Jacob that I need a watch. You know the ones with the color ice drops. Yeah, money taking bets. Check my material on Hella
Man, I got all the flavor bitches say I'm delicious. I'ma have all you motherfuckers laying in ditches. I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. There was
Not a chance that I can't hear any of you fuckers right now, and you actually are.
Oh, shit! That's it to make the money. I was great at the fish. I finna take all your